It's an early morning start here in Kathmandu because today for us is a travel day. We're travelling from Kathmandu, the capital of Nepal, to the mountain city, or further to the mountain city of Pokhara. And Pokhara is where we're going to base ourselves for a couple of days before hiking up into the Himalayas. The mornings this time of year in Kathmandu are pretty cool. So I've got my long sleeve on. It's not freezing cold, but enough that you do need a long sleeve. I've got long sleeve pants on as well. There are a number of ways to get from Kathmandu to Pokhara. A lot of people fly. It's fairly cheap and it's quick. The other way is to catch a bus, which is a little bit more adventurous, which is what we're doing. But to sort of balance out some of that adventurousness, we're going to try and catch the, it's like more of a luxury bus. I've no idea what it's supposed to be like, but you pay a little bit more for it. We paid per person, we paid about $22, which is pretty good value because it's a 6, 7, 8 or 9 hour trip depending on traffic and road conditions. Because it's still about 5:30 in the morning, we were a bit worried about finding a place to eat this early, but turns out we've found a 24/7 curry house that also does cakes, which is really weird. I think I'll stick to the curry, thanks. Sometimes when you travel this way, you travel a little bit independently and you're going off on an adventure and catching early buses and this sort of thing. You have to sort of put up with what you get. You can't always get what you want. And this is a sort of a classic case in point. It looks all right, but turns out it's a little bit subpar with some of the things we're seeing. But you just got to put up with it because there's no other choice. It's the only place that's open around here at the moment. And it's pretty standard. We're pretty used to going to places that we don't really want to go to when we're traveling this way. So I'm going to start going through some of the dals, and this one I got this time was dal tadka with a couple of rotis, a couple of flatbreads. That's what it looks like. I mean, I don't know what the difference between this is and dal fry, but that's what we've got. Susan actually ordered oatmeal, which is, I think, pretty dangerous. It looks alright, it's got a couple of bananas in it, so it couldn't be too bad, could it? Alright, let's try this dal tadka. Oh, it's filled with ghee. I'm going to taste the ghee. It's actually a really good flavour. Really good. So that's brekkie done, and it's a, 500 to 1 kilometre walk to the bus station. And the town's just coming alive at the moment. Getting that bit of a bustling feel that we had yesterday. Motorbikes and cars zooming past, the shop's starting to open. It's a wonderful time of day to be out and about. So this is a bus station. You've just got to walk along the main road until you find a bus that's got the company name on it that you've bought your ticket from. I've already passed, I don't know, 20 buses so far, and it's not one of these. Hopefully I can find it because it could be a bit of a pain. Oh, look at that one, that's out there for sure. We're in the Rainbow, the big luxury coach. We got some dodgy seats down the back, I think, so let's have a look. This is what we're looking at, like a 2-1 configuration. But I know that we got the last seats and we're right down the back in, like it's a 4-seater across the back, so it's a little bit not as good, but it's probably going to be better than catching the cheaper buses, I reckon. So we've just stopped for a toilet break. Might get a coffee as well. The rest stops here are a little bit rough. Pretty much like the road here so far has been really pretty slow, pretty treacherous. Really surprisingly, even in a place as sort of remote as this, you can still get a coffee that looks like that. How good is that? Unreal. I'm not sure how it tastes, but it looks alright. It's okay. Like, it's not a bad coffee. I mean, I've had worse. But, you know, when you need a coffee, you need a coffee. We're about 4 hours in now. We've had another rest stop here in quite a beautiful area along the side of the river. You can probably see by some of the scenery around here, it's very hazy. And I was wondering why it's hazy. Is it just normal air pollution? But what I read is that because there's a lot of construction and roadworks here in Nepal, and combined with a few other things like burning off, it actually just makes the whole air very hazy. And that road has been probably, I'd say 90% of the time it's been dirt. This is a main highway across Nepal, and most of the time it's been dirt. Not because they haven't built a good road, but because there is roadworks almost the whole way. And it's just really bumpy, kicks up a lot of dirt, there's heavy vehicles. So yeah, that's sort of what we're dealing with at the moment. It's such a bumpy ride. One of the bumpiest rides I can remember. And it reminds me of a particularly interesting journey I had in northern Laos, over 10 years ago now, where I rode a motorbike for about 12 hours along a road like this. And it's it's probably a bit better on this bus than the motorbike journey, actually, because at least you can sit down properly. But yeah, it's very similar in terms of the road conditions. While it's possible to eat on some of these rest stops, they're only a 15-minute break, and yes, a lot of locals do eat heavy meals. But for me, the last thing I want is a heavy meal on that bumpy bus ride. I'd rather just eat a couple of packs of chips and just get through the journey and have a big meal at the other end. That's sort of what I normally do. I don't like to have these big heavy meals during these longer bus rides in Asia. I've now been on this trip for about 7 hours. It's a pretty popular route, as you can hear by that bus coming past there. At these sorts of places, they'll have a little coffee hut usually, and then they'll have a big food hall and a few toilets there as well. But we've got another couple of hours to go after this. It's a pretty tiring journey, actually, just sitting there, but it is pretty tiring anyway. But hopefully we can get out into the streets of Pokhara after we get there and see what's going on. Wow, that was such a long journey. We've just arrived at the bus stop, and well, it's nearly 10 hours, 9 hours and 50 minutes on a road that was mostly not paved and really super bumpy. It's only a 200-kilometre journey, so it's like an average speed of 20 kilometres an hour the whole way. But that's part of the, the travel experience, isn't it? I mean, I was about to say the joy of travel, but it's not really a joy. It's just part of the experience, isn't it? The ups and downs. So welcome to Pokhara. It's a city which is famous as a base for getting into the Himalayas and doing treks and that sort of stuff. But it's also quite beautiful in itself, with a beautiful lake. There's the surrounding hills and a culture that's a little bit, I guess, more. Well, it's got a reputation for a culture that's a little bit more, felt than it is in Kathmandu. Kathmandu is a bit of a bigger city, but I've never been here before, so I'm ready to explore. Earlier, I was talking about the haze and some of the reasons that it might be happening. That's part of the reason. When you burn off like that, you burn your rubbish like that, and there's not a lot of wind around, you're going to have problems. What a lovely hotel. Look at that. How bright and white that is. It's absolutely beautiful. Massive as well. It's got a big lounge on it. And this is called the New Summit Guest House. So if you're thinking about coming here, New Summit Guest House, excellent. But what's really crazy about this place is only $20 per night, which is an absolute bargain, isn't it? Absolute bargain. $20 a night. I mean, it's pretty close to the centre of town. It's close to the lake, which I need to check out tomorrow. So I'm pretty happy with it. You can get little, you can get room service here. You can get an omelette for $1.50. So if you don't feel like going out and getting into the streets, you can do that. But I do feel like getting out into the streets and having an explore. So let's get out there and have a look at what's going on the streets. So we just checked into our hotel room and we just want to explore the city a little bit. And it's just the first drops of rain coming down, which is a little bit annoying. But maybe it's going to clear the air up a little bit as well, which is a positive. We're going to try and head down to this lake here. Now, the temperature here is probably a little bit warmer than it was in Kathmandu. I'm feeling like you don't need, like, shorts and t-shirts easily, good enough here at the moment. Maybe tonight or it'll get a little bit colder. But a few first impressions about Pokhara. Well, I think it's really nice. It's got a totally different vibe to Kathmandu. Kathmandu's that sort of bustling type of city, and Pokhara has got pockets of that. I could see that on the way in on the bus, that there was that really busy, bustling area as well. But what we find, I'm in a residential area near the lake, and it's quite beautiful. Most of the buildings are sort of 3 or 4 stories, a lot of guest houses, so the family will build their house and put a bunch of rooms in there that they can rent out to tourists as they come along, just like they did to us. It's quite peaceful and quiet. There's hardly any motorbikes or cars down these roads. The people have been very nice so far. Really just a slower pace already. You can feel it. Like, you get here and you know immediately it's different. And I really love it. So we're down at the lake and it's absolutely beautiful. This is actually the entrance to a hotel, and you get a little ferry, a hand-pulled ferry across over there. It's called the Fishtail Lodge. And the colourful boats along here are just fantastic. Just a fabulous, peaceful scene. Over in the distance, you've got crows flying off. You've got a bunch of guys over there. I don't know if they're fishing or playing cards, but my money's on them playing cards. Like, that's what I'd reckon they're probably doing. Yeah, beautiful. I might just walk a little bit further along the lake, because this is sort of like one of the tributaries, and I think it opens up to a more vast, expansive body of water just up there. I knew it. Playing cards, always the case. Love it. Namaste. Yeah, playing cards. Here we go. That's what we're looking for. Look how long that lake is. It's a fair sized lake as well. Apparently you can get a boat and go out there and cruise around and have a look at the story. Might do that tomorrow if we get a chance. I'd love to do it just to see what is actually around the lake. So next to the lake there's a public park, and it's these sorts of public parks that generally serve as picnic spots, exercise areas for the locals. And I also find that in a lot of places that there aren't too many tourists coming down here. Even though this is a tourist town and we're in the tourist area, there aren't that many tourists here. And that sort of thing happens a lot, that I find. I don't know, I mean, maybe there's not that much for people to see, but just to come down here and hang out and walk around, I think it's pretty nice. But maybe I'm a little bit in the minority on that one. I really like it. Local style, but I think it's nice. I mean, what else are you going to do? Go and have a few beers or something? Well, you can do that too.
Krishna, 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 Hare Hare.
What's your name?
Hare Rama.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Oh, that was cool. Turned Hare Krishna to me. Still on the side of the lake here, and I've just stumbled upon this little temple, and I mean, I really don't know enough about the religions in this region, Hinduism and Buddhism, to really know what's going on with this sort of stuff. I know that Hinduism in Nepal is more dominant than Buddhism, but Buddhism still is quite a large religion here. Yeah, it's a little bit sad when you don't really understand a lot about the religion, so you don't get the context. But it is a pretty interesting place. There's a little love heart. I don't know if that looks like an old bathing pool, but you won't get me going in there now. Before I came in here, it said no loud music and no alcohol, no smoking, and that sort of stuff. A really peaceful, sacred place. And I came in, there's two women fighting. You can still hear them in the background. A lot of people, when they come to Nepal, are here on a spiritual journey. So you get two types of people I've seen so far. You get the trekkers, the people going up into the mountains, and then you've got the real spiritual types that are into yoga, and they might have some dreadlocks, might have a nose ring, a little bit of an alternative lifestyle. The old backpacker type that you might have seen 25, 30 years ago in Indonesia, that I haven't seen, well, I haven't seen them for a very long time, to be honest. I've seen it one or two, and you get a lot of them still here in Nepal. It's an interesting place, Pokhara, because it seems to have a lot more of that backpacker. Well, it's not just pure backpacker, but you see a lot more of that spiritual type of person here than you would in Kathmandu. And that makes sense, because this place is a much more peaceful, serene place with views like that. You've got yoga retreats, you've got eco lodges, you've got all that sort of stuff here. It's that vibe here.
This is my production.
Yeah, beautiful.
I have at my home 200 tree.
Oh, you make it from your own
here
tree?
Around here, this tree also, and maybe around here, Pokhara.
And can you?
I collect one by one.
And can you explain why this is important?
This is a belief in Hinduism, Hindustan, Nepal, India. We believe as a god Shiva.
Oh, okay.
Lord Shiva.
And so to wear one of these is good luck, or?
Yeah, good luck. Keep it home, wear sometime. And if you see some like kind of arrow and like this and Vishnu.
Oh, okay, it's like more special.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Lord what they think and make a picture in Shiva, Vishnu, Indra. You can see here, very deep. This we believe is Krishna and Vishnu.
Is this, what is this? Is this shell?
This is a kind of corn plant.
Oh, it's like from a
And,
plant.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's believe in Hindustan, Krishna, Lakshmi, Shiva.
Okay. How much does it cost for one of these?
This is 300,
Right.
but nice bead, small, 4 faces. These are. This 200. Yeah, well, 200 you can give anyone. This
Okay.
one.
I'll buy one for 200, one of the big ones, yeah?
Yeah, I can give you nice one.
Right. Beautiful, thank you.
These or here I have better beats. Better beats.
I'm gonna put this on.
Yeah.
How do I look? Does that look alright?
Yes.
I'm really Nepalese now.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay.
You become a Shiva. See sometime.
Yeah.
Like Lord Shiva exactly
Yeah.
here. Number 3.
Wow.
Like for example, we believe Shiva stay in a mountain.
Yeah.
Like Manaslu, my area, Annapurna. We believe there sometimes looks animal shape coming in the mountain when snow and black and white, and animal believe like this. And people see sometimes like that.
So
Thank you
interesting.
very much for me buying, and good luck to you in your job.
Thank you very much. What's your name?
I am Fadindra Bhatta, Rishi Bhatta.
Rishi Bhatta.
Yes, you can see on RISHI,
Yeah.
Rishi,
Rishi.
BHATTA Bhatta on Facebook.
Oh, Rishi Bhatta.
These working pictures I have, you can see there.
Alright. Thank you, Rishi Bhatta.
Yes, welcome.
Okay.
Good
Have a
luck
good day.
for you. Yes,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
What a lovely guy. What a lovely guy. He was just telling me while the camera was off that he comes from a village that's 4 hours from here. He comes on the bus with his bike. He collects all those beads for the sort of the 6 months prior to now. And then he starts making the necklaces and comes down here and stays with family for a few months and tries to flog all the necklaces off. And he says it's quite successful. People love the necklaces. Well, I don't just love the necklace. I like the guy. You know, oftentimes I'll buy something from someone if I like a person, even if I don't want the object, because the person's really nice. The energy from that guy is just like phenomenal. Just a nice guy. So we're just going to grab a bite to eat at a Nepalese restaurant, and they've got fried rice, they've got little curries and stuff, and the woman's going off with the kids. It's pretty funny. But one of the things that I've found so far being in Nepal is that I keep wanting to sort of gravitate back to the dishes that I know, and I don't know too much about Indian and Nepalese food really, especially North India. I keep going back to the dal bhat type thing, and it sort of reminds me of a lot of people that I see in Indonesia when they come for the first time. They always gravitate to nasi goreng. That's the staple food in Indonesia. Always go for, because you always know that it's going to be okay, and you don't have to try and figure out what the other foods are. But one of the things being an Indonesian food lover is that once you discover all the different styles and types of food in Indonesia, is that it opens up a whole new world of food in a particular country. And I'm not anywhere near that point in Nepal at the moment. I sort of probably need to learn a little bit more about what the dishes are, if you order this dish, what it's going to contain, or what I like, what I don't like. And I probably need to experiment a little bit more. So this time I'm getting a cheese curry with rice. I mean, it sounds pretty stock standard. I imagine it's going to be that Indian style cheese, curry, rice, pretty standard. At least it gets me away from the dal bhat. I've noticed a few of the t-shirts around here say something along the lines of dal bhat power 24 hour or something along those lines. You know, a bit of a play on the fact that everyone that comes to Nepal is surviving on dal bhat. In Indonesia, very similar story. You see some of those nasi goreng t-shirts from time to time because people survive on nasi goreng, especially when you get outside of Bali and you're starting to get real local food. Yeah, nasi goreng all the way. So that's a freshly cooked curry. It took her about 20 minutes to do. I could hear her like cooking stuff and chopping and all that sort of stuff. So that's what we're looking at. I'm going to give it a go. So for me, that is a new one. Let's check it out. I'll just taste the curry on its own first. Oh yeah, really nice, really nice. It's filled with these, well, lots of chopped onion. These cheese chunks, they're like a Indian cheese. This is called paneer, and it's almost like tofu in a lot of ways. It's squeaky usually. Really good. This is another one of these dishes to add to my, stable of dishes that I like here in Nepal. All this talk of nasi goreng, and Susan's basically reverted to her Indonesian self, which is she wants a nasi goreng, and that's what she got, with a bit of cheese mixed in there as well. I don't think I've ever had, well, I think I've had an Indian nasi goreng before, but let's see what it's like in Nepal. Oh, good. Really good. They use basmati rice. Basmati rice is a longer grain, and it's a lot more, it doesn't clump together very much.
Just going for a walk down the main tourist street here in Pokhara after a nice dinner there, and it's really busy. It's really touristy. Lots of those knick-knack shops. It feels a lot like Bali, actually. Like, feels a bit like, I don't know, like Kuta or Legian probably 10 years ago. Interesting. But look, I'm going to leave it there for today and wrap things up. Thanks for coming along for the ride today, and thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all things Sanur and Nepal. I'll catch you next time.